Hi, Myra. In the flow, we have some members asking about vitamin B12 and being a vegetarian, and there's some concern that one needs to eat nutritional yeast or eggs to keep those levels up. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. So, first of all, I just want to mention that it's not a requirement to be a vegetarian to benefit from Ayurveda. We need to look at the amount of meat and maybe some of the kinds of meats that you're eating. But otherwise, that's something that can work very well. In my early days, I had become a vegetarian 45 years ago. And in my early days in Ayurveda, I thought, oh, it's better to be a vegetarian. And then what I started to realize that there were all these other things that were causing people problems that were way, way more powerful and impactful than eating meat or not eating meat. And so if one wants to, then do that. Do it in an appropriate amount. And that in terms of the B12, you know, when we look at Ayurveda and the holistic approach to life, which is how we're designed, everything affects everything else. We can't do just one thing in our body and not have it affect other things in our body and our mind, our spiritual connection. All of that matters. So when we start putting one thing in there, it's not necessarily going to bring balance. You could hit something and in a short bit it might, but mostly not. And so supplements are something that the body doesn't digest them like food. And what really matters is, in order to have the nourishment that you need, then you need to be able to digest what you consume. And that's the food, the drink, and what you expose yourself to in life. Those are the things that make the difference in terms of our sense of balance, in terms of our energy levels, in terms of our mental stability. All of these things are affected by what we can digest. And so that's where I would put my focus, because B12, the other nutritional supplements and that are not only not necessary, they can actually be harmful. So they will impair one's healing and just make things harder for the body. So one of the things that I'd suggest is to get out of the intellect about it and start to get into the body and feel what's natural. And that's a process, and that's why we have this group. That's why we talk about Ayurveda.